Black holes may contain dark matter. But how can it? No, not stellar or supermassive black holes, but the primordial black holes. Now, what are these primordial black holes? And how can dark matter be inside such a black hole? So, let's find it out. Primordial black holes are black holes that existed since the beginning of the universe. We still obviously have no idea what dark matter really is. We see the effects of the mysterious dark matter such as rotation curves of various galaxies along with some unexpected landing effects from the invisible mass in the middle of different clusters that shouldn't really be there. But the problem here is that for the past few decades, despite many different experiments, no particle has been discovered to try to explain all of this. For example, one of the most common theories uses WIMP, weakly interactive massive particles, and this is supposed to be the explanation for how dark matter works. None of the experiments so far have found anything. No WIMPs have been found, despite many different attempts to find them. And naturally, because of this, there are several alternative explanations to dark matter. But they don't explain everything, some things they cannot explain at all. And because of this, not everyone or actually most scientists do not accept them. The dark matter is still believed to be some sort of a particle or maybe a tiny black hole. Stephen Hawking himself believed that it was primordial black holes. Primordial black holes could be entirely different from stellar black holes. They would not be produced in the same way. They could be produced in an entirely different way, and they could also be lot less massive and thus invisible, or at least somewhat invisible. And so, if there are primordial black holes less than a mass of the moon. But what exactly could create such black holes? The formation of the primordial black holes depends on two principles. First is the transition of the scalar field in the early universe, but the second part here is little bit hypothetical. Here the expectation is that something else existed in the early universe, some other types of fermions that do not exist today, and that something then started to bunch into Fermi bows which then collapsed into black holes. Now the only way for us to ever try to prove any of this is to find one of these primordial black holes. So, in this case, the scientists do actually make a speculation about the mass and potential size of these black holes. Their calculations suggest that the mass of a typical primordial black hole could be about 10 to the power 14 kilograms, which is equivalent to the total mass of carbon fixed by photosynthesis on Earth every single year. Now, can these black holes really exist? Remember, black holes also evaporate. That's based on Hawking radiation, and black holes that are not very massive are going to disappear pretty quickly. This particular black hole can actually survive for a pretty long time. That's approximately 100 million times longer than the current age of the universe. And so, these black holes are going to be around for a long time, assuming they exist now. Can we find out if they exist is the other question. Currently, there is really no way for us to determine if they are real and if they are actually out there. At the moment, it's still really far to tell if we will ever be able to find them. But since they represent approximately 80% of all the mass in the universe, they should be pretty much everywhere around us, and we should be able to find them. Possibly even in our own solar system. And so in this sense, it is actually something really exciting. If one day we start discovering unusual emissions of different X-rays and possibly even gamma rays coming from some sort of a not so distant object in the solar system, in that case, that would definitely be some sort of a primordial black hole. But since it would be extremely small in size, chances are this particular black hole would not really be producing that much radiation and would still be somewhat invisible. These objects would be 1,000 or several thousand times smaller than a typical virus, and that means it would still be extremely challenging to find them and to actually prove their existence. There is also a theory that states these black holes could also contain baby universes. Watch this video to know about it. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe and ring the bell for more such videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.